Resilience of a Black Woman is about me, my family, my mother and dad who died from cancer. I had 4 kids and gave up 2 for adoption. My house burned down. I had lost everything. Me and my 2 kids moved back with my mother. I fell in love to have my heart broken.
Hello guys, this is Scott V. Mac and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to discuss traditional versus self-publishing. When I decided to become an author, my first book was my bio, Resilience of a Black Woman. And I did do a little bit of digging on traditional. First, by me being new, I had to figure out what was traditional and what was self-publishing because I had it mixed up. And when I found out that traditional is when you actually get paid up front for your book, I said, well, let's try to do traditional before I went self-publishing. But then I heard the difference between self-publishing and traditional, about how if you do traditional that you would become a puppet. What I mean by puppet mean that when they decide to get your book and go through traditional, they give you a schedule that you have to go by. They will pay you up front. It could be $3,000, $5,000, $10,000. It could be 6 figures. Who knows? It depends on how good the book is. And when you get that lump sum, once your book get published through traditional, your book have to make that lump sum that they paid you in advance in order for you to see more money coming in. Until then, you won't be getting paid anything. So that means that you could be 2-3 years before you even see any more money coming in because your book had not quite made up the advance that they gave you. Versus self-publishing, with the company that I'm with, Exlabers, they will not mail out a check for $20, $50. It has to be $75 on up. That's for self-publishing. Now, different companies do it differently, but you will see a check when your books are getting, people are buying your books. When you go traditional, and when they give you that lump sum, you have to set aside some money for as taxes, health insurance, all this stuff. Because if you're looking to become a full-time author, then what are you going to do for taxes? What are you going to do for insurance? So you have to have money set aside for these things. Also, it's okay to treat yourself every now and then. It depends on how much you treat yourself. Don't go out and splurge and expect that you're going to be getting a check in 3 or 4 months, because that's not possible. But it's best to have your money secured in a Roth. Me, for instance, I have a full-time job. So therefore, if I had gotten a traditional deal, I would put an X amount of money up in my 401k. Because at my job, I can mail off a check to be put in my 401k. So that's basically building me up. Would I quit my job if I was to get a 6-figure for my book? No, I wouldn't. Because when you get a 6-figure, how much, will the 6-figure, how much would that be? It could be 100,000, 200,000. Okay, let's say it's 100,000. So you have to pay insurance. Pay insurance once a month. You have to look at all these things that are going to be coming out of that 1,000. How much can you put up? So you have to let that money grow. And in order for that money to grow, you put it in a 401 or you put it in, a retirement savings on your own. But the thing about it is, with the retirement saving, you can pretty much go into it whenever you want to. It's up to you to not want to go into it, but you'll be penalized for it. But you can go into it anytime you want to, but you'll just be penalized for it. In my case, if I was to go on my 401k, yes, I'll be penalized, but I have to pay that back because that 401k is linked up to my job. So there are ways that you can go about it, and there are ways that that you can't go about it. You can spend it all. And when you spend it all, what do you have to show for the book that you had a deal on, traditional? So it's best to, when you get that money, put a little bit aside, 10%, towards, savings, or 10% towards taxes, or whatever the case may be, because when you get that traditional deal, they're not going to pay your taxes for you. You have to do it. That's your responsibility. That's traditional part. With self-publishing, I tried to go traditional with that book, but the first thing that was told to me on Resist a Black Woman was that I don't have a platform. It's different for an author to write their bio when you're a celebrity, because celebrity, they have more clout. Everyone's interested in a celebrity's life. You're not interested in my life because I'm a normal person versus a celebrity. So you have all these traditional houses, publishing houses, that would jump on that because they're celebrities. Who wouldn't want to know about, Jay-Z and Beyonce? Who would want to know about Mariah Carey? Who would want, I would want to know about Jay-Z and Beyonce. What are their life like? So that's the difference between me, a normal person, and a celebrity. A traditional would pick up a celebrity before they pick up you. So therefore, do I have any suggestions about doing a bio? Self-publishing. Now I see that traditional would pick up an author that does a YA book or an action book, or a book that's really good, a book that they know that readers will be glued to it to read all of it, versus a person that's doing bio. But since I felt as though I was wasting my time trying to do traditional with my bio, I decided to do self-publishing. And where I went wrong with my bio was the fact that when I did it, I did not advertise. Where you have authors that would advertise while they're writing their book. While I was writing my book, I was not advertising at all. And when my book finally got published through X-Flavors, I still didn't do any marketing. I started my marketing late. I didn't think anything is possible. Anything could happen, in the future, with this pandemic. Who would have known that this pandemic would even exist? So therefore, the pandemic came out while the pandemic was going on. When my book came out. My book came out in June 28th, 2020, this year. And when my book came out, it hindered me from doing book signing. I couldn't do book signing, and I could not go out to market my book because of this pandemic. So what I decided to do was I decided to go on YouTube. But I did YouTube too late because my book has been out since June. So now I'm trying to actually market two books, which is Resist a Black Woman and 26 Degrees. I'm trying to, market both of them at the same time. They say do one at a time, but 26 Degrees will be out next year. And 26 Degrees is already on pre-order. You can pre-order it right now on my website. I will link that below in my description box, as well as my editor. And she was awesome. She basically the editor that edited Resist a Black Woman, the second editor that edited Resist a Black Woman was the same one that edited 26 Degrees. I decided to take a different approach when it came to 26 Degrees because I felt the vibe from 26 Degrees, because I felt that this right here was going to be my money maker, my bank maker, because I was so into it, versus I believe that if I was a celebrity and I was doing my bio, I knew that I would get sales. I think my book, Resist a Black Woman, is good enough for normal single mothers and dads through any ages that, you know, that have been having a hard life. And this book would teach them to never give up. You know, you would go through all these obstacles, you know, but obstacles can be defeated if you are determined. And I was determined. 26 Degrees is a genre that I picked for action, which is, you know, we haven't had too many movies in the movie theater that have action. You know, I love Bourne Identity, so 26 Degrees for me took up somewhat like Bourne Identity, but instead of it being one character, I had two characters, which I think that it made it more fun. 26 Degrees is sort of like, I thought it was 13 characters, but it's actually 23 characters. But it made it more fun. I was really into it because I just couldn't put it down. This action. You know, who don't love action? I love action just as well as romance. But I love action more than romance. And when I got into 26 Degrees, I just couldn't put it down. So when I did that book, when I wrote that book, I decided to go hardcore on marketing for 26 Degrees because I think that book deserved more marketing because I wasn't able to put my marketing on Resilience of a Black Woman. Even though I'm trying to do a little bit of Resilience of a Black Woman, but I'm doing more of 26 Degrees. When I first wrote Resilient of a Black Woman, like I told you in my future video, that book was on my desktop for about between 9 and 9.5 years. And when I decided to go ahead and have it published, in my mind, I'm like, who would want to read this book? You know, this book is, you know, it's old. You know, it's been sitting on my desktop for 9.5 years. You know, who want to hear about my trials and tribulations and what did I do and how did I lose all this weight and how did I overcome my low self-esteem, all that. And then when I actually had it edited the first time, and I went through a lot because it wasn't edited right, when I decided to have it edited again, and when I went to that editor, this is a good friend of mine, we were discussing that book, and I asked her, do you think I should take this out? And she looked at me like, no, that's history. And I'm like, okay. She said, this book is a good book. I'm like, you think so? She said, it's a damn good book. So it made me feel a little bit more real, a little more, I'm beginning to really get into Resilience of a Black Woman, again. And it just took for someone outside to tell me that this is a damn good book. I urge you all to please go out and get a copy of Resilience of a Black Woman. You won't be disappointed. With 26 Degrees, that's my baby. Just as well as Resilience of a Black Woman, she's my baby as well. But this is a genre, an action genre that I picked that reminded me of my dad. My dad loved action. We would sit around on Sundays and watch Kung Fu theater. So I knew that's how I was brought up, you know, action movies, because my dad loved it so much. So I'm an action fanatic. So my first book genre is action. I would love to do traditional. But to me, it takes so much out of you. You know, you have to be determined, never give up. You have to find your literary agent. That takes time. You have to do a query. That takes a hell of a time, a lot of time. I recommend that when you have a little time and you're taking a break from writing your book, I urge you to you know, do a little bit of your query, because you're going to need it if you want to go traditional. I suggest you study about query letters, how to write it, really practice. So when the time comes for you to decide that if you want to do tradition, you already have your query letter in place in order for you to send off to your literary agents. That's going to take time. You know, you have to be patient, and, you know, don't take it to heart if you get an email from a literary agent saying that this is not what I'm looking for. Now, I did do one once for Resilience of a Black Woman, and the first thing he said to me was, I have a platform. You know, he said that, you know, celebrities are more to be picked up from a bio than you would. You would have to have a platform in order for you to really get this book started, really get this book out. So I'm like, damn, really? So, if you are writing a bio, by all means, you know, don't let me hinder you from trying to do traditional. Please try, you know, and if you do succeed getting your bio out and you're not a celebrity, please give me a comment and I will reply back, you know, and maybe we can get together and do some theories on, you know, the things that you did to get that good book deal. Also, I would love for you all to subscribe to my YouTube channel. After this video, I will have my book trailer for Resilience of a Black Woman shown after this. So please stay tuned and watch my book trailer for Resilience of a Black Woman. Take care, and thank you all for following me. Give me thumbs up. I need thumbs up from everybody, you know, and God bless, and talk to you.